Hi,
How are you?
how
I'm
are
sorry it
you?
took for everything to respond. It's so nice
The,
to meet you.
the first one is I, of course, know who you are, but for the people who don't know you, can you tell a little bit about yourself?
I'm Violet. I'm based in New York City. I'm an actress. I've been acting my whole life. Both of my parents were theater kids. They were on Broadway. And then I studied like psychology and philosophy in school. I wanted to become like a coach instead of a therapist, but like coaching helps like people in business kind of find their presence and their self. Um, so I started doing that and then just kept auditioning and now I'm acting full time, mostly because of verticals and real short. But um, yeah, I have an identical twin sister. She's a sea lion trainer. She's much cooler than I am. Um, and yeah.
You are cool too.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Um,
I feel like that
you
was a professional answer. That was like, this is my resume and my degree and all that stuff. But if there's anything more personal you want to know, I'll tell you anything.
you already kind of answered this one, but how long have you been acting, and did you always want to do this, or did you have other dreams?
So I grew up acting my whole life for fun. Like growing up in New York, a lot of like kids were on Broadway and I was in acting class with them, but my mom, because she knew the business so well and how horrible it is, she was like, I'm not gonna let you do it. Like you can't perform anywhere professionally. You can take classes and do workshops and readings and stuff, but you can't ever actually like get paid until you're an adult because I want you to choose it for yourself as an adult. I had terrible anxiety as a kid, like the worst stage fright. I went to therapy just to like get my blushing problem under control because I would like have panic attacks the second someone heard me speak and it was like really, really bad. So I was like, I'm never gonna be an actor. There's no way that I can never act and get away with this. Um, so ever since I was a kid, I always wanted to be a coach because a therapist is like a step farther than a coach. A therapist is like they diagnose problems. A coach just like does the interpersonal stuff. They just like talk with people and, like provide a space for them. So that's always like what I wanted to do. That felt super safe. And I still do it. But when I was in college, I was going through a really hard time. I was like super unhappy and super depressed. And I was like, I called my mom and she's like, what's one thing you can do that's like really gonna just like feet to the fire, you learn the hard way, just shake up your life right now. And I was like, that would be to get up on a stage. That's the scariest thing I can think of. And I did it. And I had many panic attacks along the way. I was very heavily medicated, but I did it. And I taught myself through experience that like I wasn't giving myself enough credit. That like I can like be seen and perform and I'm okay. Um, so after that, I kind of just fell in love with it because I love acting, but also because the person I was becoming when I was acting was the person I wanted to be. Like it was a version of Violet that I wanted to become, someone who's like fearless and playful and vulnerable and doesn't care what people think of her, right? In this industry, like you cannot care what people think about you. Or it will just be the death of you. So that version of myself, the more I act, the closer I get to it. And the more I meet who that Violet is. And so that's kind of how I got into it. I always did it for fun, but doing it professionally and doing it for other people's eyes, um, is a newer thing in the last like 2 years for me. But yeah, you're so sweet. You're just like
Thank
listening.
you. What do you think about the viewers who are watching? And yeah, I have a fan account of you, of course.
I love it. I can't believe it. I think I said this to you. Like, I still can't wrap my brain around it that like so many people watch these things and so many people love them so much. Because when when you're making it, it's like you're having so much fun and you're not thinking, or at least in my experience, I'm not thinking like, oh, this is gonna be, you're not thinking of the professional side of it. You're thinking of the fact that it's like fun and entertaining and so silly and ridiculous, and which I love as an actor. But then to have it have such a large audience and be taken like so, I guess like professionally in the world, if that makes sense. Like because it has such an audience, like it is a real big job. Um, like
Yeah.
it blows my mind. And I love like hearing from people like you are an angel. You are so sweet and supportive. And I still can't wrap my brain around it. Like the fact that someone has a fan account and I'm on it. Like it's very crazy, but like so, so sweet. Yeah. So
Yeah.
thanks for
Yeah.
everything.
What's on your bucket list?
My bucket, like my
Qua,
life.
yeah,
Wait, go. So anything on my bucket list or like professionally?
both. Both.
That's a good one. I do want to go skydiving. I don't know if I'll ever make it, but I do. That's like one thing on my bucket list. Uh, I'm like, my friend just went and I was like, now I'm jealous. Now I want to go. So that's like up there. Um, what else? I professionally like I want to be on Broadway. Just like even if it's so like arbitrary, just to like check the check box on the list that I did it because like my parents did it and I grew up watching Broadway and that was like the threshold for like I did it. So that still is like on my bucket list a little bit. Um, what else? I don't know. Like I want to move somewhere out of the country at some point, even if it's just for like a month or something. But I want to live like in Italy or like somewhere in Europe.
I
Yeah.
love it.
Wait, why am I saying this is on my bucket list? I'm literally gonna do that this I'm gonna live in Rome. So my boyfriend's working at a law firm there. Um, so I'm gonna go like stay with him for like a month there. But so I will be living somewhere else, but I want to like actually like move my life.
Netherlands. What do you think about that?
Exactly. Exactly. I love that. I've never been, but I do want to go.
If you could write your own vertical and play a role in it, what for vertical and what for role? And what for role?
If I could write any vertical, what would
Yeah,
it be?
your own.
Wait, this is funny. I just had a conversation with someone about this. I think I'm allowed to say this. I think this is fine because it's not really a serious thing yet. But I met a girl who does verticals. Her name is Nadia. She's amazing, an angel. I love her. And I met her on a non-vertical shoot. So we like kind of were talking for a little bit and we both realized we did real short. And we were like, we should do a vertical and we work with the same stunt coordinator. He's great. I love him. And we're both good friends with him. And so we were like, we should write a vertical directed by the stunt coordinator and have it be like an action thing. But here's the thing that there are two female leads, two girls that like get screwed over by a guy, and then the guy um like comes in and no, the guy screws them over, the girls like kick him out, and then it's like an action vertical. This was the stunt coordinator's idea. He was like, I'll write it and direct it, but we were like, I would love to do that. So I don't know
Oh
if
my
I
god.
but that's one idea that we were just talking about that if that happens, that would be so fun. I think I'm allowed to say that and not like focus spot. But another one would be I love I love like Hallmark and Lifetime movies. I just did one recently and I had so much fun on it. I would love to do something like that. Like if I could write a vertical, it'd be like along those lines. Like the big city girl goes to like the small Christmas tree farming man and saves Christmas, like that kind of vibe. Yeah.
Did you mean Nadia who was in a new real
Yeah,
show?
she's just in the stepmom
Yeah.
one. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Then I know who you mean.
Yeah, but she's so badass. She's so cool. And so we're like, if we do an action one with like two badass female leads, like that would be like really cool. I'd like that.
You would smash that.
Yeah, I'd love that. That'd be cool.
What types of verticals should there be more if it was up to you?
Mm.
Kind of.
Yeah, I think more that are like I like the Hallmark direction. I do. I think there's like an audience for it. I think ones that center more on like s- strong women instead of like the whole slapping thing, which I get is like super entertaining and it's rewarding when like a woman gets like overcomes something, so she has to start at a more disadvantaged place in order for that payoff. I get that, but I would love to see like if they can find a way to have storylines that revolve around a woman starting out like really in a nice place. I feel like that would be good. I don't know how to do that or how to approach that, where to follow the same formula and still get that result, but I'd like to see that. Yeah, what would you want to see more of?
You. Also, more female leads together in one.
Yeah, yeah. I think there's a way to do it. Like the
Anything can
yeah,
happen.
anything can happen. And I liked the guy's idea of like kicking the guy out and then having the two female because then it's not like okay, you don't like a lot of the stories revolve around like romance and
Yeah.
intimacy and if you have two female leads, I feel like a lot of people would just go straight to following that route again. And I'm like, well, what if it doesn't have to? What if it's like just women being badass and like in an action movie and like I feel like that's cool.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if I'm trying to I'm for sure like later tonight gonna come up with a much better answer for you of something. I would love to do that, but like yeah, right now
Yeah.
it's
What is your favorite vertical you have done yourself and why?
oh, this question. I had a lot of fun filming the cancer one after it was under a different name when I filmed it. But I think now it's called After Cancer, I Turn Into a Badass. Um, I had a lot of fun filming that storyline. Um, I'm not sure why. I think it was just like it was super rewarding to be like to just like take up space and be a bitch and like have permission to like be a bitch and still be rooted for. Like that was kind of rewarding. But the most one I had, my favorite overall was the last one I did, the bodyguard one, because we filmed in Atlanta. And something like magical is happening down in Atlanta. I don't know what it is. The the team, the real short team down there are like the best people, like the best set I've ever been on, like the best people. They formed a little family down there. So just like going down there and living down there for like 2, 3 weeks and having such close friendships, like I took friendships out of that set that I will probably have for the rest of my life. So that was so much fun. Even if this, I liked the storyline, but even if I liked the other storyline better, just that experience of filming was for sure my favorite. Yeah.
Where did you film the first one?
All the other ones were in New York. Yeah, so like close to home. So that the Atlanta one was the first one that I like moved away for to like film and stay there. And so I was like kind of immersed in the city and like the set and the people. And I just like I even amongst non-vertical sets, like I've never had more fun filming something. The people down there, they're magical. Yeah. And a lot of real shorts like best shows come out of Atlanta. Like all
Yeah.
the really have come from there. So they're doing something right. I don't know what it is, but Yeah.
What do you like to do in your free time?
That's a good question.
Do you know?
I don't know if I have a lot of free time.
What do you do?
When I do have free time, I love, so I'm really close with my family. My grandma lives in New York and I live like right next to her. Um, and so I'll just like sit with her and like watch movies together. We'll cook together. Um, we have cats that we kind of like share and take care of between like my sister and I and my grandma and my mom. And so we'll just like bring our cats over and just sit with them. Like it's those moments that I'm like, I'm only gonna have this for like a limited period of time. So like any chance I get, I'll be there to do that with them. Just like sitting, watching a movie, playing cards. That's a lot of fun. Um, yeah, I go on vacation a lot. Um, Most of my free time is spent on vacation, on like vacationer. I'll go to Florida a lot. And I love being by the beach. So that's a big one. Yeah. I don't have like hobbies because my work is my hobby. Like
Yeah.
I love acting. So if I'm not doing verticals, then I'm filming something else. And if I'm not filming, then I'm doing something for theater, like developing a new musical or whatever it is, or like workshopping a play. And so I'm always like doing stuff that is fulfilling to me. But then when I have absolutely nothing to do, that's when it's like this is dedicated family time.
If you could visit any country in the world you haven't been to, which country would you go to and why?
I have to say the Netherlands now, don't I? Um, Aside from that, probably one we haven't talked about yet, probably Spain, because I was gonna live there in college. I was gonna do a year there, abroad, and I didn't because I ended up doing the play instead. I was like, if I'm unhappy in the US, I'm not gonna be happy in Spain. Like that makes no sense. But I always did like miss that feeling of going because I had everything planned out to go. Um, and I decided to do theater instead. But I do kind of wanna check it out and see what's there. Because my sister's ex-boyfriend was I think he was from Argentina and his family barely spoke any English. So he became pretty fluent in Spanish and prepared to go over there. So I would love to go to Spain.
Do you have like a quote or something you hold on to when things get rough?
Hmm. Yeah, I have a few. All of them are slipping my mind right now. Oh my gosh, this is gonna kill me that I'm not remembering this. Yeah, because working in coaching, my mom's a coach too. So once she retired from acting, she became a coach. You have so many like things that you called or like they're called perspectives. So like you adopt certain perspectives or certain like phrases or sayings or whatever that like you can tap into. So I have a whole bunch of them and I can't remember a single one right now. Um probably like this is such a classic, but the biggest one is like you are enough. This idea that like you don't have to say or do anything for people to know who you are, right? You're just enough exactly as you are. Um, so I'll do that a lot. Another thing I do, um, this is probably super specific, but um, when I'm talking to, I'm an empath, so I'll like adopt people's energy super quickly. Part of the reason why I can't be a therapist, um, but it used to be like really hard to talk to people and like empathize with them without like taking on the weight of everything that they're going through or feeling. So I learned to kind of just do this, which if I'm like on Zoom with someone, I'll do it like under the screen so you can't really see it, or I'll just like mentally do it if I'm talking to someone in person. But it's this idea of like I'm here with you, but you are carrying your own weight. You know, like, I'll walk next to you through the forest, but you're carrying your own. And it's just a beautiful reminder of like things are really shitty. Like life can get really horrible and you can like be with people in those times without it hurting you, you know? Like they are naturally this is what I was looking for. This is what oh my God. Okay, this is what I hold a lot. It's this yeah, and I'm stealing this from a coach training program, but ever since I heard it, I say it every day. Everyone is naturally resourceful, creative, and whole. So without having to do anything, they just naturally are able to handle their own stuff, which includes me. I'm able to do that. They have an inner wisdom that they can tap into. And they're whole. They're not something broken to be fixed or mended or lacking something. So whenever I feel like a shit, I remind myself that I'm naturally resourceful, creative, and whole. And whenever I'm with someone that like is struggling or it's hard for me to see them in this place or I'm in conflict with them, reminding myself that we both are those things, like brings a kind of like peace to whatever's happening and like trust that we're both human beings, we're both complicated, but we're both whole and can handle our own shit. So, yeah, I just went on a tangent there, but yeah.
If you could have any superpower, which one do you wish you could have and why?
Ooh, time travel. Most people are going to be like flying, invisible, read minds, like all that kind of stuff. I've thought about this so much. I want to be able to like travel back and just like be there when the dinosaurs were alive and like watch what's happening. Just like be able to safely come back home. Like that would be so cool. Yeah.
I would love to work with.
Have not. Nadia is for sure one of them because I've worked with her on non-vertical stuff. But for vertical, I'd love to work with her. I just think she's great at everything she does. Um, in terms of guys, like male leads, I haven't met a lot of I don't think I've met really any of them. I met Luke once at an event, and he's a great person, like super kind, super humble, obviously super talented. And we've had a couple of like near misses of being in a show together. Like we're supposed to be matched in one, and then one of us went to another one or took a month off or whatever. Um, and so I'd say probably him, but just like mostly like I care about working with good people. Um, and I know he's a good person, so I'd say that. But there's not really anyone that I'm like, ooh, I want to be in a vertical with you, you know? Which part? Wait, what part made you cry? I'm trying to remember the story.
Um, I think the last couple parts of it.
Oh, that's cute. Yeah, it was fun. That one was a fun one to make, but I'm like, because they move so fast, like you do so much content in such a short amount of time that like
Yeah.
the story kind of blends together, and you film out of order. Like you don't film the story chronologically, so you kind of like it's really, at least for me, it's really hard to remember like where I am in the story, like what just happened, what's going on. So only after when I watch it do I get a sense of the whole story of like what happens. But yeah, also if we're talking about two female leads, I love Meg Bush. Like I think she's just so good at what she does. She's a very kind person. I haven't met her in person, but I I've talked to her on the phone when I first um started doing real shorts. And whenever when I'm on set in New York, because she used to live in New York and do a lot of the productions here, um, like people would call me Meg when I first started because they like would get it confused because she works so much and I'd show up and they're like, oh, blonde girl, whatever. So I think at one point her and I were like, we should do one as like sisters. I feel like that would be fun. Um, but I don't know. Yeah, that's all I can think of because I can't really speak to like the other male actors other than Luke because I haven't met them. Um, I've done like chemistry reads with them before and like auditioned with them, but I've never like actually. met them or know what they're like, you know? But yeah.
The next one is about if the cancer I turn into a badass.
Mhm.
If there was something difficult to film because it's more a real uh,
Mm,
subject.
yeah. Um, it's interesting because I with each real short I figure out like how I'm approaching it, which is different each time. Because when I first started, I'm like, I can't approach this like a normal acting job because it's just so different in terms of content and pace and all this stuff that I just kind of did it differently. But with that one, that kind of brought me back to like, um, let's treat this with like the gravity that it deserves. Because it's not just like the cancer, which is just such an insane way to like introduce the story. It's like very intense. But then also like the subject matter at the end of the story too is has a lot of weight. And so I found myself like I didn't go into it being like I'm gonna like actually feel these things, but like I got surprised by because Bradley, who was in it with me, is so good. He's so good at what he does. He's a phenomenal actor, and he surprised me with like how it like how real the subject matter felt in certain moments of like oh wow this is like serious and dark and you know it didn't feel like a real short at certain times in terms of like how absurd it is it felt like a little more grounded in reality and that really caught me off guard which was nice as an actor to be like to be surprised you know by what's happening so to answer your question I have a bad habit of going off on tangents but but to answer your question it it was hard at times, mostly because I mean, Bradley has a scene where he finds out that I feel like I can say this without spoiling anything, where he finds out that she has cancer, and his scene, him and Nick, the guy, I forget the character's name, but the actor's name is Nick, who's amazing. I love him. But the two of them have this scene, and I was watching it on the monitor, and I was like, oh fuck, like this is they're like really good. Like I feel like this is real, and that kind of brought the gravity of it. That was a little, that was
Do
tough.
you mean in the hospital?
Yeah, yeah. When he like finds the papers,
Yeah.
or it's just like so they were, and then that carried over to the end of the movie, where like every moment felt like you were dealing with tough shit in real life. Sorry, I also curse a lot. Yeah, so that's all to say, yes, that show more than any other show um had caught me off guard in terms of moments being serious and actually affecting me, as opposed to it just being like, this is an absurd moment that was written into the script. It's just pretend, you know?
If there's something of you in the three characters you played, or are they the complete opposite of you?
Oh, yeah, these are good questions. Um, all how many have I've done four. I've done four.
On real short theater?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Each one was a vastly different character. I've been super lucky in that regard. Like the first one was like super like composed and together and shy and sweet, all the way to like a grown woman in the cancer movie who's like flipping people over her shoulder to like playing a young like girl in college or high school or whatever in the last one I did. Um, so having that broad range, I'm of the belief as an actor that like anyone is capable of anything under the right circumstances. So like any character I play is a part of me under a certain circumstance, like as if these things were true. So all of them I were like a version of Violet that exists somewhere. Um, maybe not one that is like naturally Violet, but like a version of me that I can understand, or a version of a person that I can understand. Um, and so there were some that felt much closer to me than others. There were some that surprised me, but all of them have pretty much felt like I recognize a little bit of myself in each one, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
For sure, the bodyguard one I did felt a lot like me. If I'm remembering correctly, that one was the easiest for me to be like, oh, I'm just gonna say these lines and that's it. You know, this is just me if I had an attitude, like that kind of thing. Um, that felt a lot. I remember doing a little bit less work for that one, just because it was like, you work on the things that are different between yourself and the character. The things that are the same, you just leave alone because they're going to be there no matter what. I remember leaving a lot of stuff alone for that character. Yeah.
So the last one more relatable for you.
Yeah, for sure.
I love it.
I got to be like a little brat, like a little kid, Like so many of these roles unlock a part of me that I don't get to be in real life. And so for that, it was just like I get to say whatever I want to this person, like no filter. And it was fun.
If do you listen to music, and if you are, which artist?
I am weird. I don't listen to like normal artists. I listen to a lot of like 80s rock. So like um yeah, 80s rock. I listen to a lot of James Taylor. I love James. Do you know who that is?
Yeah.
He's probably my favorite artist. And he's a new musical coming to Broadway. And I'm gonna freak out when it comes because it's like combining theater and musicals with James Taylor. It's like crazy. I
Are
love
you
it.
going?
Oh, for sure, I'm gonna go. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, yeah, I listen to James
Oh
Taylor.
wait.
Oh,
Yeah.
music. So
Yeah.
80s rock, James Taylor. Yeah, Billy Joel. I love Billy Joel. Yeah, but I don't really listen to other like pop artists. I can enjoy a song, but I'm not like I won't like follow.
That were all the questions.
Oh, this was so fun. It was a lot of fun.
I I thought so too.
Oh, yay. But thank you so much for like putting this together, taking the time, like being interested in me and asking questions. Like this is really sweet.
You too for taking the time to do this with me. And
Thank you.
bye.